Hi, friends. It's me, Christiana Gaudet. I am live on my business page on Facebook. If you happen to be watching in archive on YouTube or Facebook, thanks so much for being here. It's Thursday. That means that it is time for the Tarot Topics weekly newsletter recap. Did you get a chance to read the newsletter this week? If not, you can find it on my website, christianagaudet.com, where you can subscribe to get it in your inbox every Wednesday. You can also see it here on my Facebook page. So, the topic this week, what we loved as kids. Hey, Barrett, Christina, nice to see you here. So, my theory, and I think it's more than a theory, I think it's a fact. If we look back to the things we loved doing as children, if we look back at the things that gave us joy when we were young, the things that we wanted to be when we grew up, when we were kids, and we look at those things, it's really interesting to see either how those things are manifesting in our adult life, or if we're not in some way happy with some aspect of our adult life, we can look back at those things we loved as children and think about how can we incorporate those things into our adult life. Now, Barrett says, I still do the things I loved doing as a kid, which is gaming. Absolutely. Sometimes we can incorporate them into our career. Sometimes we can incorporate them into the way we live our lives. Sometimes we can simply incorporate them into our lives as a pastime. But I guarantee you, the way to be happy, or a way to be happy in life, is to look at what you loved doing as a kid, what you wanted to do as a kid, and find a way to bring that energy into your life as a grown-up. So there's some readings we can do around this. You know, this comes into a conversation about the inner child, how we as adults nurture the inner child. Now, there's a flip side to this, which is that childhood trauma, and we all had childhood trauma, always has an effect on us in our adult lives. And part of what we have to do to be happy and successful in life is to find a way to heal from that trauma. So today, I am very interested in doing a few readings, and I'm ready to take questions on anything on this topic. So, if you want to know how to nurture your inner child, if you want to know how you can bring the things you loved as a child into your adulthood better, if you're looking at how to heal your inner child, these are the questions that I would like to work with today. Go ahead and ask them, and also tell me some stories. How are you honoring your inner child? How are you doing the things that you loved as a kid now? Barrett already shared. Patricia Lynn, nice to see you. Creativity, arts and crafts. Absolutely. I see how you're doing that. Absolutely. For me, you know, all of the work I do is stuff I loved as a kid, without a doubt. And for fun, what did I love to do as a kid? I loved to sing in the choir. I love to make music. I am not the most talented person there, but I love doing it, and I'm doing it now. You can see my ukulele right over there. My guitar's over there. I got a couple of drums in the back. And, you know, even if you're not the best at it, like I couldn't be a professional musician, but to give yourself the opportunity to bring those things into your life is a beautiful thing. Now, I got my first divination deck when I was 8 years old, and that is what I do for a living. So I think there is some real truth to this. So let's see. Barrett says, my girlfriend says I have too much practice bringing out my inner child. I think that's probably a good thing. Okay, and here we have some questions. And let me just say hi to a few people. Karen Winkle, it's nice to see you. Neil, glad you're here. Christina, glad you're here. Okay, now I am using a deck that is sure to bring out your inner child. This is Paulina Tarot. It appeals to my inner child. So let's see some questions here. From Christina Reed. We have a couple of Christinas here today. How can I heal my inner child? Always a good question, because no matter what, everyone's inner child needs healing from something, right? So how can you heal your inner child? The Queen of Swords. By telling her what is really true. You know, I feel like as a child, you believed some things about yourself and about life that were hurtful and that were not true. Now, as an adult, tell your inner child what is true about her, about how smart she is, about how capable she is, about how worthy she is. That's what I think. Okay, Neil, should I go back to acting and singing? Things you loved as a kid and things that you have had some success with in your adult life. So, should you go back to doing that? Five of Swords reversed. It is probably not a career answer. You might be able to make some money at it, but it probably is not going to replace your career. But it should have an honored place in your life, Neil, because it is part of who you are and it brings you joy. And I thank you so much for your feedback. Christina says you nailed it. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I may not read aloud everyone's feedback because I want to get to everyone that I can as quickly as I can. But I want you to know I do see it and I do appreciate it. Karen Winkle asks a really wise question. How can I make my inner child feel safe? What a great question. Well, let's see what the answer is. The High Priestess. So a lot of that, I think, is going to be on a spiritual level. Through meditation, through recognizing your spiritual power, letting your spiritual power give you the power of agency that you yourself as a child did not have. Your inner child does not feel safe because she did not have agency. Use your own strength, your own wisdom, your own intuition, and your own spiritual power to give yourself agency. Okay, hey Steffi, glad you're here. Okay, so Christine Petta. Since my childhood, I loved everything mysterious and cards. Yes, me too. Lori Hahn, nice to see you. And you did arts and you're now a graphic designer. So we see how those loves from our childhood can figure into our adult lives. Allison Spokes, nice to see you. I loved dinosaurs as a kid. Now look at my profile picture. There you go. Okay, Elizabeth, I gave my daughter her first set of cards in her Easter basket when she was 3. I got mine in my Christmas stocking when I was 8. Okay, so Barrett, I was into computers and music as a kid, and I know you work with computers now. Should I go back to music more? The Six of Wands reversed. Probably not professionally, but probably as I do for the joy of it. There may be ways it can figure into your professional life, but overall, do it because, you know, I say on an amateur level, I say about music what I say about tarot. When you are an amateur tarot reader, when you are an amateur musician, don't worry about being good at it. Worry about how it's good for you. And the more that we find how doing these things are good for us, the more we do, in fact, become good at them and let our talents come out. Okay, TK, question. As a kid, I was ADHD, hyperactive, always on the run, trying to manage a bunch of stuff like the boss baby, so that I run away from depression and fear of being useless, excuse me. How do I heal the inner child so that the child can focus despite the ADHD? That's a wise assessment, TK. I think of where you've been and where you're at now. I think that makes a lot of sense, just knowing you. And so the question is, how can you heal here? The Queen of Cups. By loving every part of yourself and recognizing every part of yourself is worthy of love. That there is nothing about you that makes you unlovable. I think it is this feeling of being like different from the other kids or the not being able to focus that made you feel not good enough, not worthy, not lovable. And that, I think, fed into the depression. Okay. So, Christine Petta, how can I heal my inner child? Ooh, you got exactly the same card. Queen of Swords. So we're going to say a similar thing, to think about what is true. To recognize that your inner child was taught to believe things about yourself or about life or about the world that are not true. Now you know the truth. Make sure your inner child knows the truth, and healing will occur. Okay, very good. And Patricia Lynn says, yes, it's good to talk to your younger self, aka inner child, to comfort and reassure with love and understanding. And I think that really is a good process to do it in meditation or to do it in letter writing, to write a letter to your inner child. I think these are all things that can be incredibly helpful and incredibly healing to us and can bring us a great deal of joy in life. So, if you have questions, now's the time to ask them. I'm getting ready to wrap up. And speaking of wrap up, I will be back here tomorrow with the Friday weekly wrap up. And I'll be here on Saturday with the Saturday Psychic Sampler. Let me remind you of a couple of things coming up. This coming Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, our official YouTube Tarot Meetup, an hour of readings and tarot study together on YouTube Live. Find it on my YouTube channel, Christiana Gaudet. I also want to remind you that next Wednesday, that's a week from yesterday, is a Zoom class. You need to buy a ticket for this one. And it is personal tarot reading for yourself. You know, there's all this talk about should you read for yourself, should you not read for yourself? Yes, you should read for yourself. And yes, there are particular challenges about how to do that. This class is going to help you understand how the cards speak to you specifically. Find the ticket on my website, christianagaudet.com, under events, or right here looking at the events here on my Facebook business page. And we have a couple of more questions, so let's, okay. A letter to my inner child. I'm going to do that today. What a great idea. Man, this is the day where like the people whose first syllable of their name is Chris, we are ruling this right here. There's a bunch of us here. Christine Lesser, Christine Petta, Christina Reed, me. We're all here. Okay. Steffi, I would gladly have this question answered too. Or rather, what do I need to know about my inner child? Judgment reversed. She doesn't know how to get over stuff. She's still upset about things she did that she wishes she had done differently. She deals with regret. She deals with anger. She deals with things from the past. She needs to find a way to put closure to the past, closure to the things that she regrets, so that she can be playful and present in life now. And from Christine Petta, you just nailed it. I need to believe more in myself. Love the letter to our inner child. Yeah, let's do that. It's a good idea. Okay, Barrett. Would being ADHD as a kid have something to do with my tarot abilities today? You know, those of us who are good at tarot, definitely, you know, we probably were not like the other children in a lot of ways. And would ADHD lead to tarot ability? Well, TK was also ADHD, and he has some good tarot ability. I think that that's really possible. I think a lot of us are a little off the beam in one way or another. And I think that's a way that it comes out, is in our psychic abilities and our tarot abilities. Okay, Melissa, it's so nice to see you. Melissa Hammett. I will ask the same question. How can I heal my inner child? What does she need most from me? Let's take a look. 7 of Swords. Wow, so this is heavy. It feels as though, you know, we've had a few Swords cards about healing the inner child. And so far, typically, it's been the Queen of Swords, which I've been interpreting as tell your child the truth. But here, with the 7 of Swords, it's even more. It almost feels, Melissa, that something was perpetrated against you when you were a child, that you were very clearly lied to, not just misinformed, or treated in a way that you should not have been treated. That someone was not good to you when you were a child. And you need to tell your child that this does not typify what your experience with people should be. That whatever hurt was done to you, either intentionally or unintentionally, that this is not the way all people are, and that now you have the ability to know the difference and to go toward those who will be helpful and good to you and away toward those who won't. Okay, Barbara Ann, here's a card for your inner child. The 9 of Swords reversed. You know, you spend a lot of time helping other people heal their own inner children. And sometimes, you know, what's that expression? The cobbler's kids never have shoes. It may be time to look at yourself, to look at the things that have hurt you, the things that have caused you pain. And I think it's very easy to say, yeah, no, I'm good, I'm fine. But when we say that, very often we're covering up for some place where we're not. So go to those dark places. Go to those dark places and find your healing. Okay. Barbara O'Brien, how can I heal my inner child? So good to see you, Barbara. 6 of Cups reversed. You know, you have an ability to enjoy and to have fun. And you have things that you have loved all your life that you still love. But I almost feel like there are some things that you loved as a child or that you love now that people might try to shame you for. And the key is to feel no shame for who you are and what you love and the things you enjoy doing and the things you're good at, and be as loud and proud about who you are as you possibly can. Okay, Christine Lesser. What does your inner child need from you? Let's take a look. The Magician. To recognize that it is never too late to have a happy childhood. To recognize that each and every day you can initiate something new. To recognize that you have now and have always had all the tools you need to be happy and healthy and successful. You are very good at self-entertaining, and you are very entertaining to others. Those two things have always been true of you and need to be honored. Okay, Allison Spokes. A message for your inner child. Here we go. The King of Wands reversed. Recognize your own ability to be playful. Recognize your sense of humor. Recognize your warmth. It may be as you were growing up that there were people around you who did not recognize and honor your unique abilities and your unique strengths. And so now it is important to do it, to recognize everything that is unique and special about you. Your creativity, your talent, your warmth, your humor, and all of your abilities. I think there was a time in your life where your abilities were discouraged instead of being encouraged. Maybe it was your psychic abilities. Maybe there was some gender stuff there where you were discouraged from certain interests because of your gender. Whatever is true, claim who you are now. All right. I want to thank you folks so very much. I hope to see you on my YouTube channel, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Sunday. And I hope to see you grab a ticket to my class, Personal Tarot Reading for Others. It will be available on Teachable after the fact if you can't get there. But it's always best to do it live, and that's next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, so get your ticket now. I also want to let you know I am available for readings by phone, Skype, FaceTime, Messenger, Zoom. And I'm also available for mentorship. Wherever you are in your journey, whether it's about learning tarot, whether it's about taking your tarot journey further, whether it's about your tarot business, or whether it's about your own personal growth and development, I can work with you in a custom mentoring program to help you get to the next level. I want to thank you so much for being here. I will look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.